folks, welcome to Calvin's Got Game. I'm here to tell you about a game called WAZOOGA. I'm going to get it to the table and then I'll come back and tell you what I think about it. Okay folks, here's how to set up the game of WAZOOGA. WAZOOGA, each player chooses a color, which I have chosen blue. And as you can tell by this spot, blue. You put your clock token up in the corner up there. You'll see the spot here where it's blue. This is where we'll put our blue token and everybody else that's playing. Place a die on each item space. As you see up here, we have a 5 here. It tells us on the board, a 5 here, a 3 here, and a 3 here. So then you take one item cube of the matching color and put on each area. We have green for food, blue is robots, yellow is weapons, and orange is alien allies or allies. You're going to place the cubes in the bag. It comes with a nice bag with a bunch of cubes. So then place clock tokens on it. Your clock tokens are always going to match what the dice says. So this one will have 1, 2, 3. You count the item plus the clocks on here. The one on the board actually counts. So because we have a 3 dice, it's 1, 2, 3. And this one will get 3 clocks because it's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll finish placing those on the board. And as you see, this last one here is a guard. This one right here is a guard. It starts out as a 4 strength, and as you draw black cubes out of the bag, you will add them to that. And if you ever get to 14 and you still draw more cubes, you just place them on the board. Don't worry about it. It can never go over 14. So each player is going to get a actions card that they can use. The actions are move, reveal 2 tokens, place 2 items, or gain items. So that's the things that we can do on our turn. You have to do 2, but you can do up to 4. So mix up all the tokens, which I have already, and I turn them all face down, mixed them up, and placed them out onto the board. Now, on this, you are going to be carrying items. The reason why you want to get allies is when you place allies on your board, they're going to give you some help. So right now, if I was to turn over this guard here, say I moved here and I turned over this guard, I have 4 attack. So I would be able to defeat the 4 guard. So I would win an item. I would take that item and put it on my board. Now, if I placed it here, I get to draw more cubes in the place 2 items. So I get to draw up to 4 instead of just 2. If I placed it here, it's going to cost me less time to do buy something or do something. This one here will let me reveal tokens for myself. I can peek at them and put them back down. So what are all the tokens? Well, let's talk about them just a second. You have food, okay? You have a safe place. This is a hiding place. If you wanted to good gravy, I can't hold on to it. If you wanted to flee and get away from him, you could move to this spot as long as you have movement here, and you'd be away from that alien and get away from him safely. If not, you'd still suffer a loss. If you went to one that you hadn't turned over, you'd have to turn them both over. And if it wasn't there, then you'd have to suffer a loss. So there's ally tokens. Here's another guard. These are the robots. So the robots will get you robots to fly your ship. This token here is actually what we're looking for to complete the game. You have to win the game, you have to have 5 food, that's the green, 5 robots, which are the blue, to help fly the ship because you don't know how to fly the alien ship to get out of this zoo. And then you find this token, fight one last boss. It could be the level 14 boss, and then you would be able to escape. And so I think I've covered everything, but what's that doing down there? But the weapons tokens. So you can collect these and it will give you a yellow cube. Now, as you collect things, you are going to be putting things on your board. And as you have no allies to help you carry things, you have to put it here on your space. And as you see, now you only have 3 movement instead of 4. So you're covering up that space. But as you bring in allies, I'm just going to dump some tokens out here on the board real quick. I'm going to dump some tokens out on the board. As you get an ally, you can put things on that ally that's going to help you. He's going to help carry some of that stuff. But you also lose some of the things that you can add to in your combat. Because as things go along, say I have one here, and I have to fight this guy, and he is now on a 7. So I have 2 weapons on my board. I would take 2 dice, roll them, and I got a 7 plus 1, because I have this open, would be 8. I would defeat that guard and be able to move on or collect an item and go from there. But as the game progresses, things are going to get harder. When you draw a red cube, you're going to turn this card over to the alarm side. And it kind of tells you each player must fight. And if they win, they get an item. If they lose, they minus 2 items. They can do a flight, find a hiding place, or surrender 1 item and return to a human habitat. And then you reshuffle all the map tokens of players of where they're at, of the places here. So you're going to reshuffle all these tokens that have been turned up and face down as long as you're not in that habitat, and then replace them back on the board. So it's going to be harder to find the things that you're looking for. So what are we doing in this game? We're trying to escape the aliens as fast as we can, this alien zoo, and doing it in the shortest amount of time. Now here's the kicker. Once I get past 15 or on 15, these are actually going to decrease in price. So you take one of these away, and each time you put an item on here, you want to make sure if you have 2 on here, you're going to adjust the clock to make sure it's up to 4. So these will decrease, and it'll still cost you 4 times to buy these items. These will start increasing. So your robots and food will get more expensive as the game goes. And then your guns and allies will get cheaper at the end of the game because you're trying to get out of here. So that'll happen on 15, 25, 35, and that's it. So those dice will change at those times, and you'll have to get out of there as quickly as possible. Now look, I didn't cover every rule in this game, but that's basically how you're going to play. Is you're going to move from habitat to habitat, flipping over tokens, collecting 5 food, 5 robots, and finding that last alien ship and getting out of there. And to do that, you're going to have at least 4 allies. There's no other way to do it, so you got to have those 4 allies as well. So that's basically how to play WAZOOGA. It's a great family weight game. I think you'd enjoy it. So I'm going to show you a couple more of these player guides or player sheets, and then we're going to come back up top. I'm going to tell you what I think about the game, and we'll go from there. Hey folks, what do I think of WAZOOGA? First of all, let me talk about what's going on here on the board. These components, I believe, are prototype components, so it's not like I can really say a whole lot about the components. But what I do have to say is I think the iconography on these, the apple, the little alien-looking person for the allies, I call them alien allies. It's probably just an ally of some sort from another that's trapped in the zoo with us. Everything's pretty easy to look, to follow what it means. The little green time tokens for the player. You got green, red, yellow, and blue. So you'll know that your time markers. The little people, are they excellent little miniatures? No, but they serve the purpose well. You can know where you're going. You know who your person is on your board. The boards, the player mats are really nice and thick, and I really like the artwork on these things. I think they're pretty decent. Like I said, the iconography is really good. I like it. So I do want to say that when you're playing the game, this is a time management game. And as you can see, you're required to do 2 movement, but each movement is going to cost you as you go up. So if you do 1 action, it's 1 movement. 2 actions is another hour time spent. Then if you do that 3rd action, you're going to be spending 2 time. You're going to move the clock twice. And if you do that 4th action, it's going to cost you 4. And what you're trying to do is get out of this place as quickly as possible. So it is a time management game. Trying to find the alien spaceship to get out of here. It's almost like a memory. It's really not memory because you're not turning them back over. But you're just discovering them as you go. And I think that's pretty cool. And then if you get this, the alarm, it reshuffles everything. Even if you found that alien ship and you're close to getting out of here and you hit an alarm, you draw a red cube and hit that alarm, it's going to reshuffle everything, and it is just nuts. Now, the dice are good quality. The cubes are pretty good quality. The only thing I saw on the cubes was some of them were a little off-colored. Not a big deal. I didn't find that a problem. The rule book. The rule book is pretty nice. It does have a good amount of pictures to try to explain things to you and how things go. So I do like the rule book. And this bag, right? This bag is pretty decent. Now, this WAZOOGA is 1 to 4 or 2 to 4 players. I always say 1 to 4. It's 2 to 4 players. It's for ages 12 and up. It's 60 to 90 minutes to play, and this is by Joe Magic Games. So WAZOOGA, as it is a pretty decent family weight game. If you're wanting something to play with the family, this is it. It's simple to learn, simple to teach. You've got an object everybody's going for. It's just a fun game. I think you'd really enjoy it. If you like games where you're discovering things on the board, you're fighting guards, you're trying to get resources, so it's a pretty good game. I think you'd enjoy it. So if you like that type of game, I think this game is for you. Hey, thanks for watching Calvin's Got Gaming. Get a board game to the table, spend time with friends and family. And once again, thanks for watching.